What do they call it in England? Of course, they call it a football. But in American English, yeah, soccer. Soccer, it's not that important. A long time ago in England, they used to use the word soccer for this sport. But in the 1980s, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, they stopped using the word soccer and instead they use football. And you're probably familiar from Latin America, Brazil, and Mexico. They also say football, football. But in America, football is a different sport, a different sport. It comes from soccer, but it's a bit different. A kind of crazy sport, American football. Very violent. Sometimes I think America is a bit violent country when it comes to sports. And what's this? They're both different kinds of what do we call them? This family of fruits has a special name. What is that special name? This special kind of juicy fruit grows especially well in the summer. Do you know? Well, a melon and a watermelon, right? We have so many different kind of watermelon, honeydew and watermelon and what do we call cantaloupe? I think in Korea you just call a cantaloupe a melon, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell me if you know. That's pretty simple. I think everybody knows that. What is it called? Yes, a doll or a baby doll. Um, I guess a lot of girls have a doll when they're a kid. Generally, girls play with dolls, right? And boys play with, well, when I was a kid, we had like, like a hero action figure. Actually, it's a doll. It's a doll too, what boys play with, but we don't call them dolls because boys feel bad if you call it a doll. But boys also play with dolls as well. Um, but this kind of doll is specifically made for girls, right? But most of you are beyond the age of having dolls. Okay. His face looks very, very scared, right? Why is that? Why would his face look so scared? Because something is very expensive. The price is too high, that means it's expensive. What's the opposite of expensive? The opposite of expensive is inexpensive or cheap. But cheap has several meanings. Cheap might mean poorly made. We used to say that products made in China were very cheap, right? They were very cheap, cheaply made. They're not good. Although that's really changing now. China has a lot of luxury products and good quality products. Like Huawei phone is a pretty good product, and many of our things like a Galaxy and iPhone are made in China nowadays. It's just like before, we used to think that all Korean products in America, 30 years ago, they thought all Korean products are cheap and garbage. And then 50 or 60 years ago, everything that was made in Japan we thought was total garbage. But now Sony in Japan and Nintendo and Hyundai in Korea are considered pretty good products, with some small exceptions, but they're considered good products. And nowadays, uh, China's things are not considered cheap. Many things that are made in China are considered good quality products as well. Okay, so let's look at some of these pictures. Let's take a look at some of these little photos here. We got the melon and of our different stuff. What is this? Let's take a look at the numbers. How do you say these numbers? Sometimes it's a little bit hard, but I think most Korean students have a pretty good idea about these, right? So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, 22, and so on, right? 30, 35, 40, 100, 200, 5,000, 5,000. So we count those a bit different because Korean money counts by the thousand, right? Chunwon, manwon, imanwon, bigmanwon, and so on. So sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get. So, you know, like $30 is sammanwon, 35 samman chunwon, $100 is 10만원, right? 20만원, and $5,000 is 500만원. So important to know those differences. Okay. So let's think about how much do these things cost? So this toy, right, about $5. This melon maybe $7. I think that's a Korea price, $7, right? This car, is that right? Maybe a bit more than that, right? And the phone, the old Joseon phone, just $19? Possibly. Good question. Good question. Well, for our purposes, we'll see how much they cost. So let's play the how much is this game? How much is this game? So there's going to be some photos up here, and we can't really do it in the class. Unfortunately, we can't do it in the class. However, we can at least, you know, talk about it. We can talk about it on here a little bit. Okay, so how much is the cat? How much is the cat, do you think? Well, I can find many kilgoyangi, stray cat I can take for free, but how much do you think the cat is? Guess. How about the car? The phone? How much does an elephant cost? Zoos have to buy the elephant, right? Would it be more or less expensive than the helicopter? How about the parakeet? Certainly, parakeets are not too expensive. The compact car? More expensive or less expensive than the sports car? What about the suit? Yangbok. Well, we can have a very cheap suit, and we can have a very expensive suit. Baseball cap? Chocolate bar. How much is a chocolate bar? In Korea, maybe chunwon, chunwon. Maybe in America it can be even cheaper. That's why Americans get too fat, I think. What about this desktop PC computer? It's kind of an old model now, but maybe when I was university. How much for a dog? A cute puppy? A night dress? And nowadays, does anybody buy DVDs? So maybe a DVD doesn't cost anything, I think. How about this? How much is this? Similar things here. This is the kind of thing it's more fun to do it in the class. I think it's a lot more fun to do it in the class. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a choice. We have the handbag. We also have a very expensive handbag and a very cheap handbag. Nikon camera. Also, we can have a second-hand 중고 camera or a brand new top-of-the-line one. House. We can have a very cheap house or a very expensive house. So then, which of these things could be some of those things? Which of those things might cost $45,000? Which of those things might cost $45,000? Well, I think probably the sports car, right? Not every car costs $45,000, but probably like a nice, maybe like a BMW or something might cost $45,000. That's like maybe, that could be even half the price of a house in some places in the United States. So, yeah. Which of those things might cost $35? What kind of things in that list might cost you $35? Maybe a second-hand console game like for Nintendo. Which of those things might cost you like $500? Maybe like the camera, right? The Nikon camera might cost you $500 if it's a good model. And as you know, some cameras could cost even more than that, I think. Which could cost you $25,000? Well, maybe the small car, the small compact car, not a sports car, it might cost you $25,000 possibly, right? Do you guys have cars? I know you guys, some of you don't drive. In America, we start driving kind of younger than Koreans. So we start driving at like age 16 years old. So we already have our car, but sometimes we can drive, but we don't because if we're young, we cannot afford a car. We just drive mom and dad's car, which probably, I guess you guys drive mom and dad's car, right? What thing costs $300? Well, maybe a suit might cost you $300, or a very nice dress might cost $300 as well, right? What else? $5,000. Which of those things can cost $5,000? Maybe some nice gold ring or jewelry could cost you $5,000. $300. Yes, it's like, yeah, 30만 won. Which of those things can cost you $300? Which of those things can cost you $5? Some kind of toy, right? Or something might cost you $5. Some small toy, 5,000 won, or maybe 6,000 won that is now, right? Maybe nowadays, I think some burger and fries at a restaurant might cost you $5. Gimbap or bibimbap at the Gimbap Cheongguk might cost you that much. Same thing with $2. Maybe your little onigiri, samgakgimbap, right, might cost you $2. A cup of coffee in a cheap cafe, and nowadays coffee is more expensive in Korea, right? 900. Again, this might be like a camera or some electronic equipment that you might have. Some okay laptop. What's laptop in Korean? That's right, notebook. It might cost you about $900. My Lenovo is pretty good. My Lenovo Yoga is kind of like a LG in style, but it only cost me $900. What could cost you 600? Again, electronic equipment, suit, dress, if they're really nice. Maybe plane ticket to Philippines or Thailand might cost you this much or a bit less actually, right? $100. Another kind of similar thing. If you're playing Switch or PlayStation, a couple of games might cost you this much, right? A bottle of nice wine, going out for drinks and dinner with your boyfriend or girlfriend could cost you $100. It's a bit expensive, but that's why people complain about going out nowadays, right? $10 again nowadays, like a maybe the meal in the kind of foreign style restaurant in Korea, like an Indian restaurant or something, might cost you about $10. Or some meal just for yourself somewhere in a Korean restaurant might cost you almost the same. Okay, so let's think about this. Is the role plays I wanted to do in class. Maybe we might do these in our Zoom class if we have time. So let's familiarize ourselves. Again, role play. The clerk says, "May I help you?" The customer says, "I would like to buy this Nikon camera. I would like to buy this textbook." The clerk says, "Well, it costs $10 or it costs $900. The customer says, "That's too expensive," or "That's too much," or "Whoa, are you crazy?" Here, right? Maybe you've seen this shop before. I try to take a picture of the Korean style shop. It's a kind of, I think, second-hand shop for kids' clothes. And switch roles. So when we're doing this in class or in the Zoom class, I might have you guys practice this. One time as the clerk and one time as the customer. So, "May I help you? I would like to buy this Nikon camera. It's $900. Customer says, "Okay, I'll take it. I want it." The clerk says, "Here's your change." And pizza school, manwon pizza. Or this one sometimes says ochanwon, but I think it's usually like manwon nowadays, right? Or pijamaru, also very cheap. GS25. We have a very big GS25 near the campus, right? What do you like better, GS25 or Mini Stop or 7-Eleven? Okay, well now we're going to talk quickly about what we call prepositions. Prepositions. So in Korean you will call that like 전치사. So talking about where things go. They're called in English prepositions because they come before the noun. However, in Korean, they're postpositions. They come after, like 집에, 옆에, right? They're after 에. But in English, near or next to come before the noun, next to the gate, at home, and so on. Okay. So I'm going to do it with Pokemon Go because I knew I had a lot of gamer students and I want to appeal to my gamer students a bit. Do you play this game? Of course some of you have played it. Okay, so for the first one here, we have Krabby is blank the baseball field. He's on the baseball field, on the baseball field. Drowsy is blank the man's hand. Well, we could say he's on the man's hand, but we often might say that he's in the man's hand. Pidgey is blank the sidewalk. Pidgey is above. He's flying above the sidewalk, right? Charmander is blank the desk. He is under the desk, right? Not above, not next to, but under the desk. Spearow is blank the bed. He's on the bed, right? The pillow is also on the bed. The blanket is on the bed. The clock is next to the bed. Pikachu is blank the chairs, so he's in the middle of them, right? So what could we say? We say he's between the chairs, between the chairs. Shelter is blank the sink. Where could he be? He's in the sink. Or in the water, right? Charizard is blank the Eiffel Tower, Eiffeltop, as you guys say. We might say he's next to it, or he's by it, right? He's by it. Eevee is blank the parrot's back, or parakeet. Eevee is on the parrot's back, on the parrot's back. Spearow is blank the bike. He's in front of the bike, in front of the bike. Charizard and Blastoise are blank each other. They are opposite each other. I'm sorry, they should be OPPOSITE, opposite each other, or across from each other. Growlithe is blank the people. Among. So among means like in them, with them. Our favorite little guy, right, is Pikachu. Pikachu is blank the train. Pikachu is next to the train. That one's like Yoppe, right? Next to. Next to is same as beside. Doduo is blank the bush. Dodo is on top of the bush. On top of. Could say above, but on top means like he's also touching it. Pidgey is blank the bed. Pidgey is in front of the bed. In front of. Kind of on too, right? But Ghastly is blank the station. Ghastly is at the station. Pikachu is blank the field. Pikachu is on the field, or we might say in American English, in the field as well. Dodo is blank the bike. Behind the bike. Charizard is blank the sidewalk. On the sidewalk. Sidewalk, of course, indoor. So where is Magikarp? Of course, he looks like he's about to be eaten, right? Magikarp is in the pan, or in the frying pan. Not fry pan, but frying pan. Pidgey is blank the motorbike. Pidgey is next to the motorbike, or beside the motorbike. Squirtle is blank the statues. Squirtle is in front of the statues. Eevee is blank the beach. Eevee is on the beach. Okay, so these are our prepositions. Now we have so many examples here, I think that you can guess what they all mean. So they're probably going to be, yeah, you know it, on the test, right? They're going to be on the test. Okay, so May 25th through 29th, kind of important information. We're going to have a Zoom class that week during your normal class times. It might be our last chance for conversation, but I'm not sure. The semester's kind of busy for many of my students. This is going to count as attendance for your Children's Day class. So if you come to this, you get attendance. We have to make up our Children's Day class. If you don't come, I'm going to post the video as an extra week on the NAMSL University portal. Okay, I'm going to post the video as on the NAMSL University portal, so please watch it on there no matter what. Okay, if you come there, though, I'll mark you in the Smart Attendance portal.